Easy. Didn't take much at all, Justin. Just ask it one time and get it done. My name is Donald Trump. See, that would have got your attention for crying out loud. Just waiting for a call from Matt Lauer this morning. I guess poor guy. Man, there's a lot of this going on around the country. What's wrong with these guys? How do they just leave the women alone? Women are one of the greatest inventions God ever made, for crying out loud. I'm the father of 3 daughters, affectionately referred to as MasterCard, Visa, and Overdraft. As they were the reasons that I would hear from them when they were in college. 2 of them ended up with master's degrees at the Actors Studio in New York. I still haven't figured out how you can spend 8 or 9 years in New York and buy 7 sofas. That still surprises me. How the heck can they do something like that? You ladies going to tell me how you can do that? Well, you're not a hell of a lot of help, you know. I'm looking for somebody to bail me out, and why we got the sofas, for heaven's sake. Anyway, I'm thrilled to be back here. Monica tells me this is the 4th year that I've been invited back, which is more often than my ex-wives invited me to dinner, so that's really good. So that's an improvement. That's great. I happen to be the stadium announcer for the Oakland A's baseball team. We have any Giants fans here? You can leave any time you want. Just go ahead and work your way to the parking lot. It's great. It's not a problem whatsoever. But the Oakland A's are defending Major League Baseball champions. We're still defending the 1989 season. It takes us a little while, but have faith. The team is going to be great. They actually are doing a lot of nice things, and hopefully they will get the proper ballpark facilities put together in the city of Oakland. They are committed to staying in Oakland, so that is one thing that you will not have is an emancipation program of a franchise that wants to leave Oakland. They do not want to leave Oakland, and they're looking at right now at a ballpark in the area of Laney College. So I was on a telethon with them yesterday, and there's a lot of interest. There's some opposition. Nobody's saying it's going to be a piece of cake, but it should be a beautiful ballpark. They don't want to call it a stadium. I keep having to correct myself. They want to call it a ballpark, so hopefully that will be the case. We hope you enjoyed your lunch. Those of you who have completely finished it, we were trying to stay under the lights of a program time, so we're trying to stay with those. And we hope you enjoyed this lunch, catered by chamber members Coy's Catering. Please pay them a visit at next year's Seafood Festival. We'll be serving up lobster, crab, seafood platters, artichoke, shrimp. God, I'm hungry already, for crying out loud. And tons of more seafood dishes. At this time, I would like to introduce our first speaker, and this is a real treat for me. Justin Nelson has been a professional presenter for over 20 years. He is a peak performance strategist from the Tony Robbins Company. Advises and consults with executives, managers, and sales professionals in the areas of personal and professional achievement and sales mastery. Travels and speaks to over 350 companies per year. We could use those as attendance factors for our Coliseum meetings, 350 people there. But his presentations runs training programs throughout North America. Justin's greatest passion is to inspire and help human beings achieve their full potential, and Justin will share his strategies from the Tony Robbins Company with us today, designed to create immediate and lasting results in our personal and professional lives, as well as the opportunity to attend a very special and rare event with the Tony Robbins called Unleash the Power Within. Justin, unleash it.
Good afternoon. Wow, that was awful. Guess when the absolute worst time is to have a meeting?
Lunch.
Right after lunch. So let's try that one more time. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name's Justin. I'm a corporate trainer and national speaker for Tony Robbins. My title is Peak Performance Strategist. I am talking very quickly today because I usually do this in 60 minutes to 120 minutes. And today, we're going to do it in 10 minutes. So, by show of hands, who knows who Tony Robbins is? Who does not know who Tony Robbins is? Who's not going to raise their hand no matter what I say today? For those of you who know who Tony Robbins is, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Number tall, 6'8", but the #1 answer across the country is motivational speaker. If you go see this man live, you'll understand that he is not a motivational speaker. He trains people like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Oprah Winfrey, Richard Branson, Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, Michael Phelps, Tom Brady, LeBron James. And would you agree with me that some of these people that I just named, maybe the last thing that they need is motivation. Would you agree with me? They're already fully connected to their purpose, and they're performing at a higher level than anyone on this planet is performing at. They literally do not have an equal in their industry or profession. And without exception, they all have a coach. Without exception. So why do they have a coach, and why maybe from time to time do we need a coach? Let me hear some answers, please.
Lack of motivation.
Lack of motivation. What else? Tune up. Let's make everything very simple and quick today. Why would another person give another person money? What are they looking for? What's that? A result. People do not pay Tony Robbins the amount of money they pay him for a rah-rah session. The only reason they pay him is for a result. And whether we know it, the result that every single human being is looking for, and this is based on 40 years of crazy research and practice with the best of the best on this planet, the result that we are all looking for is to take our life, our health, our relationships, our businesses, and our finances to the next level. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Now I have exactly 7 minutes left. If I could give you 2 simple, straightforward strategies and maybe get you to think about your life and your business in a little bit different way in 7 minutes, is this going to be worth your time? I promise you 100% that I'm going to deliver. So are you committed to listening to me for 7 minutes?
Yes.
Then everyone take a deep breath in, let it out, turn to your neighbor and say, I'm committed. Are you? I can't believe you just did that. How embarrassing. Tony Robbins has been in this game for 40 years. He's worked with the best. And what he's found is this. There are 3 major things that all highly successful and fulfilled people practice. The first one is mindset training. Mindset training is taught in 0 schools and 0 colleges. And mindset training is simply this. Let's learn how to use our minds efficiently and effectively. And what mindset training is this. What are we focused on? Would you agree with me that right here in this market, in every business, there are people making a ton of money? Yes?
Yes.
Would you agree with me that right here in this market, in every business, there are people struggling?
Yes.
We are not positive thinkers. We're not, oh, just be positive, manifest things, go and be happy. But successful people train their focus. If we're focused on the right thing, we get the right result. Would you agree with that? If we're focused on the wrong thing, we get the wrong result. And that is why in every single market, somebody is making the money and somebody is not. Are you with me? The best way and the simplest way to train your focus is this. Ask powerful questions. Are there people that is doing exactly what I'm doing, but making way more money and doing it in less time? Here's a very simple one that could effectively change your life right now today. Are there people on this planet that have sustained, intense, natural energy from the time they wake up to the time they go to bed? Yes. Are they just lucky? Or are they doing something different? Tony Robbins is not massively successful because he comes up with clever ways to be successful. He simply does this. He models the behavior of the absolute best in the world. He is not going to spend 5 minutes of his time working hard if something has already been mastered. Are you with me?
Yes.
And whatever we want to do mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially has already been mastered. If we're willing to understand that there are people out there that have dedicated their entire lives to things that we are trying to accomplish, if we seek some of these masters out. Does this make sense?
Yes. Yes.
First is mindset training is waiting for us all. Second is this. There are, 80 people in this room. Do all 80 of you have a different belief about what is going on right now with this interaction? Yeah. Based on your mood, based on if you're stressed, based on if you like me. Based on if you've seen me speak before, maybe there's some trust there. Maybe you love Tony Robbins, so maybe there's some trust. I was in a room the other night of about 500 people. Amazing experience. A lady came up to me after and said, Justin, something you said to me resonated so deeply that I'm absolutely changing my life today. She has tears in her eyes and she's shaking. In that same exact room, there was a guy rolling his eyes at me. He did it for 60 minutes straight. I was impressed by this man. Did they have two different experiences in that room? And did I change? It was the same room, but they saw it completely differently based on their beliefs. The thing that determines everything about our lives is what we believe about our lives. And if our beliefs are not serving us, change them. If our beliefs are serving us, train them to be stronger, to make them unshakable, to serve us in the most powerful way possible. Does this make sense?
Yes.
In this world, in our business, there are two kinds of beliefs. The first one is limiting belief. This is not a trick question. What does a limiting belief do? That is a beautiful answer. It limits us. Now, we think, and I don't have time to get into them all, but we think the major limiting beliefs are confidence, fear, self-doubt, self-worth. But those actually aren't the ones that hurt us the most. The ones that hurt us the most are these. I don't have time. I don't have money. I'm too busy. Let me think about it. Who owns their own business in here? Who's in sales? When somebody says, let me think about it, when do they call you? Never. If we have a reason we cannot be healthier, stronger, more powerful, have more fulfilling relationships today. And here's the scary thing. If we have a reason why we're going to do it later, those limiting beliefs are the ones that hurt us the most. Are you with me? The most beautiful one, empowering beliefs. Tony Robbins has worked with the best of the best on this planet, and he understands this. There are 1,000 different ways to be successful. There's 1,000 different ways to be healthy. There's 1,000 different ways to be fulfilled. If it works, it works. Would you agree with that? But I promise you, if you respect and you admire and you look up to somebody on this planet, they have an empowering belief. Because there is no other way to be successful. I was in a room the other night, tire sales team across the country, a lot of people, 1,000 people in the room. I took a chance on this lady. She had amazing posture, wonderful eye contact. She was a presence in the room. And I said, Miss, will you please stand up and tell me what your belief is about what you do here? And she stood up and said, I believe God put me on this planet to do what I'm doing. Is this an empowering belief? I got chills when she said this. And I guarantee right when she said that, there was 900 people in that room that said, oh yeah, like God put you on the planet to be a salesperson. But she gets to believe whatever she wants to believe. Are you with me? 1,000 people in the room, 990 of them thought they were salespeople, thought they were trying to sell a product. They were trying to make more money. They were trying to come up with new marketing ideas. And there was one person that believed that God put her on the planet to do something. Do you see the difference in beliefs? Talking to the CEO afterwards, she was the #1 salesperson in the entire company as she doubled the production of the person behind her. I will tell you this right now, there are thousands of people on this planet that do exactly what Tony Robbins does. He's the only one that brings in $6 billion a year. He's the only one that feeds 1 billion people a year. He's the only person in his industry that even brings in $50 million a year. And they all kind of teach the same stuff. But I will tell you this, he trains his belief system about why he's doing something. I would encourage you, you have 1 month left in this year. Is there something you can accomplish? Is there something you can improve? Is there something you can get better at? And then say, if I was to do this in 4 weeks, what do I actually need to believe about this? Are you with me? Now, the very last thing, I went over mindset training, I went over belief system. Would you agree with me that it's easy to do good and feel good when things are going good? Not so easy to do good and feel good when things are going wrong. Would you agree with that? So the third major thing, the only reason I work for Tony Robbins is this. He trains beautiful state, emotional state training. I'm going to go ahead and make an assumption. Everyone in this room is pretty damn good at what they do. Is that safe to say? I speak to people all around the world that are pretty damn good at what they do. But imagine being really good at your job, but still on a daily basis being stressed, feeling overwhelmed, running out of time, worried about what other people think. What is that going to do to somebody over 5, 10, 15 years? What's it? Where are you at, right? 15 minutes before I walked into this room, I touched pressure points in my body. I did breathing exercises. I practiced gratitude. I visualized.
I became very clear of why I'm in this room. I became very clear of why you're in this room. But what I didn't do was walk into this room. Look at any high-performing person on this planet, pro athlete, CEO. They prepare themselves for the day. And I'm just going to leave you with this. Human beings have way more power over how they feel than we could possibly imagine. We are capable of feeling over 1,000 different emotions, and most of us feel less than 10. It's not because we're not capable of feeling more powerful emotions, and stay with me here, it's because we trained ourselves to feel the same emotions every day. By our thoughts, body language, how we sit, how we walk, who we surround ourselves with, what we listen to. And then all of a sudden, we only have access to certain emotions. Tony Robbins owns 33 companies. 32 of those companies have nothing to do with coaching. And he spends 45 minutes in the morning training his belief system through visualization, body movement, practicing gratitude. If he were to get up in the morning, get dressed, and work hard, all 33 of his companies would fail. His marriage would be wrecked. He wouldn't be an amazing father to his 4 children. I would encourage you, maybe it's not 45 minutes. Maybe it's 5 minutes. Maybe it's 3 minutes. Is there something you can do throughout the day to prepare your emotions, to feel better, to have more energy? Because I promise you, you are amazing at your job. I'm not here to tell you how to do your job. But what if you could feel better? What if you had more powerful emotions? What if you had a higher energy level? Do you see how that could help your business? Are you with me?
Yes.
Tony Robbins coaches the best on this planet. He coaches 3 things: mindset training, emotional state, and belief system. Maybe I would encourage you, you have 4 weeks left in this year. Maybe you could research or practice just one of these things and see if it makes a difference in your life. Are we all willing to do this? Now, that was about 11 minutes. I went 1 minute over. I'm going to leave you with this. I work 100% on referrals. The only reason I'm here is I provided value about a year ago. I do serious workshops to take your business, your life to the next level. Sales teams, networking groups, I don't care. If you guys are interested in getting in contact with me, I'll be out here for 2 months. I'm going to leave some business cards and some CDs in the back. But it is a huge blessing to be here. I wish you all massive success, and I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I hope it was an uplifting 10 minutes for you guys, so thank you so much. Take care.
Justin, if you could just get some enthusiasm in your presentation. It's so much better for the presentation. We had a little bit of excitement. You know, ladies and gentlemen, your chambers provide you with a number of assets as the years go on. And your membership here is a cost factor, and cost factors are things that actually add to benefits, which is what Justin was saying. But one of the things that as I was sitting there listening to him, and I thought, if you and I exchange $1, we each have $1. But if we exchange an idea, we each have 2. And that's what you were just experiencing with a man who gave you ideas and areas for you to think about. So if you really focus on that as you walk out of here today, you're not only going to be walked out and say, I bought and enjoyed my lunch and enjoyed being part of this, but I did come up with another idea, and that's a great experience. Thank you, Justin, for that very much. We are presenting service plaques and introductions of the board. So would PJ Casada from Romar Foods International and Osvaldo Garcia from Mechanics Bank, would you please come up, and we're going to present you with service plaques. They're $25 each, so bring your cash. Everybody knows Monica, right? Monica's doing the presentation. Doesn't she look great today? What?
Yes.
Doesn't she look gorgeous? Congratulations, PJ. Oh, it's a hug too. Oh. Did you know you're getting a hug, PJ?
Nope.
They didn't tell you that?
That's good.
Yes. That's one of those things Justin was just talking about. Thank you and congratulations to PJ and Osvaldo for their service to the Chamber. And now our 2016 Executive Board Committee, Wolfgang Kroski. Kroski Real Estate is the president. You stand. Each one as I call your name, would you please stand? Reginald Huey, Salu Delta, past president. Jared Stager, Praxair, Chief Financial Officer. Paul Rives, the law offices of Rives and Rives, Chamber Counsel. Mike Griffin, Dow Chemical Executive Board Member. The 2016 Board of Directors, Bob Garrison, Sierra Pacific Properties. From PG&E, Tom Guarino. USS Posco, Marianne Smith. From HASA, Lisa Johnson. Tobin Moore. I know Nancy's here. Nancy Hersline. Lifetime Planning, Investment, and Financial Services. Her professional address, Joshua Samuel. Hey, Josh. And Chris Moreno from State Farm. Non-voting liaison members of the board, Colette Simonton from the city of Pittsburgh. Renewing Los Medanos College Foundation. And Janet Schultz from the Pittsburgh Unified School District. I am now going to enlist each of you in the military. So if you would please follow the brief instruction. Stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me. Well, repeat after me. Repeat after me. Finally got it. All right. I do solemnly swear. Was that everybody? Did we get everybody to say that? If you were really swearing, would you do it with a little bit more enthusiasm? Let's start it again and get some enthusiasm with it. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear.
Well, that's not bad. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Well, we're getting there. At least they gave me 2 minutes. It's going to take 20 the way this is going. The Constitution of the State of California. The bylaws and charter of the Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce. I'm going to pass out some no-dos. And I will faithfully discharge the duties and responsibilities of which I have been entrusted. I knew that was too long when I read it. Have been entrusted to me as a board member to the best of my ability. So help me God. This is finished. Thank you very much. It is now my privilege to congratulate and welcome you to the new Chamber Board of Directors in accordance with the Constitution and bylaws. Obviously, some oratorical classes are in order somewhere along the line there. At this time, I'd like to call the current and past presidents back up, Reginald Huey and Wolfgang Krosky, for some recognition.
I'm in. Okay, so really the comments that I want to share is that as an Eagle Scout, Boy Scouts of America, we have something, we have a Eagle Corps of Honor called the Eagle's Nest, and it's where all who have earned the rank of Eagle Scout kind of sit together, and it's to represent those that have led the way and have built a foundation for those to come. And me being president of the chamber this year is a perfect example of that. We have Reginald Huey, we have PJ, we have Paul, we have Ron, we have other past presidents that are in the room that have all laid a foundation for the business community here in Pittsburgh. And I hope to be able to add to that foundation for the businesses here in Pittsburgh. and I'm excited to do that. Thank you.
Not completely sure why I have a microphone, but I'll use it to the best of my ability. At home, I won't be singing either. The one thing I would say, and I said this to PJ, and I think we've all kind of said the same thing, our goal as president is to leave the chamber in the same manner that we found it, or better. And I think you will do a great job with that. I am passing the gavel. I can sit down and do nothing if I choose.
So with that, we now get to do the new president's remarks and the keynote presentation. And this is where the fun begins, because you've actually been being sold to for the last month. If you look at, I don't know if anybody has their invitation with them, but on their invitation, there is a picture of a gold milkshake. Some of you may have thought that it was the pendulum from a grandfather clock, but it was really a golden milkshake. I don't know if it's on the program, but it definitely was on the invitation. So what we're going to be doing today is finding out, what does that golden milkshake have to do? So, but before we get started, we need to do a little bit of housekeeping. Ms. Anello over here, the superintendent of Antioch Unified School District, was actually my mentor. I was a public school teacher and worked under her direction and helped change the lives of kids, hopefully, and a lot of other things. And I invited her here today to kind of let her know that I appreciate that, and a lot of the leadership skills that I've acquired have come from her. And she does have to catch a plane, but I wanted to at least let her know that while I was here. And she always taught me that when you get ready to give a presentation, you kind of have to set those expectations. So this is what I am going to do right now. In your tables, I want you to talk about what you think of life so far, because really this is just a practice. Because what we're practicing is, I'm going to teach you a symbol that when you see this symbol, it means to stop talking and bring your attention back up here. So this is a symbol. When you see the fat white guy on the chair, that's your symbol that you need to stop talking and bring your attention back to the center. And for a lot of you, your backs are turned to me. So those who have their backs turned to the bar, your job is to watch out for me. And when you see me, let everybody know that that's the sign. It's time to enter conversations, and we'll go ahead and go from there. So right now, just go ahead and have a general conversation about life in your tables. And when the person sees a sign, your job is to let everybody know. And when it's quiet, we'll continue. Go ahead and practice. Hey Brian, you're failing at your duties here. All right, that's pretty good. We'll have more opportunities during this presentation to practice some more, but that's kind of the sign. Rather than doing, I've been at quite a few events here at the Elks Lodge where people, come on, everybody, let's bring your attention back. They're banging gavels, doing whatever, and it just doesn't work. So I've pulling this from my teaching days, and I taught middle school, so clap your hands if you can hear me. It didn't work in middle school, so you have to do other things. So this will be the sign. So you see me sitting on the chair, that means end your conversation, bring your attention up front, and we'll go ahead and continue. So, how many of you brought your just in case? Your just in case? Just in case this presentation sucks, I have something else to do. Okay, pull out your phones. It used to be you'd have papers or you'd have something that you would do while the presentation was going on because it just wasn't very good. We've now upgraded in society and we now have our phones. So this is what I'm going to do. Because nobody in here wants to be the person. I've now outed all of you. So now nobody's going to pull out their phone and be distracted. So just in case this presentation sucks, don't pull out your phones because I guarantee you that it won't. The technology behind it is failing me right now, but it's going to be a good presentation. Okay, so again, that's the sign when you see the ugly white guy in the chair. That's me. That means bring your attention up front, and we'll go from there. Okay, so this is the presentation. So what's being passed out right now are milkshakes from McDonald's. Only the best, right? Golden Arches. You try ordering 120 milkshakes at McDonald's and getting them here, and you let me know how things go. But they're being passed out. You'll understand by the end of this presentation why. We're going to talk about lions, and we're going to talk about leaders, and that's the title of the presentation for today. So here's a classic picture of a lion with a lion tamer, and this may surprise you, but when I went to Pittsburgh High School and then even into college, I used to wrestle. And my freshman year, still being fat, but I was shorter, I didn't do too well. Quite honestly, I lost a lot, and it was really hard to deal with that. And so my dad taught me the story of the lion tamer. And it goes a little bit like this. When you look at a lion, its paws are literally the size of a dinner plate. Anybody ever seen a live lion in person? Yeah. The paws are the size of your dinner plate that's in front of you right now. It's got teeth, it's got massive amounts of power. But when the lion tamer walks into the ring, all it has is a whip, a small chair, maybe a uniform, and the lion respects the lion tamer. Somebody else walks into the chamber and the lion may eat them. But the lion tamer only has the whip and the chair. And because of that, the lion respects the lion tamer. It knows that the person with the chair and with the whip respect them, follow their command, and that's it. And so I'd be out there on the mat in my singlet. If you've never watched wrestling before, we wear these cute little outfits. It's a combination of shorts and a tank top, but you'd be out there and you got your ear pieces on so you don't get cauliflower, you're going, and I could hear my dad yell, "Show him the chair." And I knew what that meant. So when you look at this picture, even this next picture, there you go. You have a lion, it's massive. Something definitely to be scared of. You're in its cage, but you have the whip and you have the chair. So what we need to learn from this is that sometimes you have to show them the chair. If you get in the cage without the chair, you're an imposter. Maybe you have the whip, maybe you got the hat, the boots, whatever. Lunchtime. It's all about the chair and what the chair can do for you. So what do we learn? That the lion can eat and kill the lion tamer. And this goes back to, actually, I had no idea that Tony Robbins representative would hear, but it's the mindset. Let's be honest, that chair, even, that was the cane chair, even if you brought this nice Elks metal chair, is not gonna stop a lion. Let's be honest, right? But when the lion sees that chair, the lion knows. And that's your mindset. When you go into those difficult situations, whatever they may be, it's that mindset that's gonna help you. And sometimes you just have to show them the chair. So here's the question that's gonna have our first table topic, is what is your lion? So what I would like you to do gonna be a little bit shorter than 5 minutes, but at your table, talk about what is the line in your life that you're scared of, that brings fear maybe to you professionally, something that you have to deal with, but you have started to develop a chair that you use to let that lion know who's boss. So I have a countdown timer, I have my chair, and when I stand on the chair, that's a sign. So go ahead and start talking as a table. It's funny how even people look right at you and they talk and they're kind of doing this and they're still talking. You're like, the chair, right? Good, we're getting there. We'll make good students out of you. Okay, so up here I have a quote from Henry Ford. It says, if I asked customers what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. Is there anybody in here that's not familiar with Henry Ford? Even if you were, you probably, I'm not gonna raise my hand. Guy stands on a chair, who knows what he's gonna do if I raise my hand. So Henry Ford, obviously, Ford Motor Company, but he brought to the world the production line. And when he was building cars, people still used horses and buggies. And if he would ask, hey, what can I make to get you from point A to point B that's better so I can, produce it? People said a faster horse, because that was their mindset at the time. Sometimes we have to not ask our customers what they want, because they're gonna give us an answer that comes based on their current market, the current market today, which would have been horses. You have to, and this is about innovation, when you're looking to bring innovation, you have to be able to look ahead. So as business leaders, business owners, trying to bring innovation to our own prospective markets, and even those who are not in the private sector, that are in the public sector, there's still lots of room for innovation. So don't ask people what they want, because they're just going to give you from their current mindset. They're going to tell you, I want a faster horse, when really it's, I need a car. Because it's really about this thing called jobs to be done. What's the job to be done? It's getting between point A and point B. That's the job to be done. So, you're hired. How many of you earn a paycheck of some sort? Whether it's a money paycheck, or it's a paycheck where at the end of the day you feel good about yourself, but ultimately you've been hired to do something. Paul raised his hand. I hire Paul all the time to help us with evictions because Paul does it really well. So I hire Paul. Yes. If you have to evict a tenant, hire Paul. So that's how he gets hired. I get hired to help people deal with their property, whether it's to manage it or to sell it. That's what I get hired to do. Our police officers in the back, they get hired to do something as well. We're all hired to do something, a job to be done. So the real question is, what is that job you've been hired to do? And if you go back to your job description, you apply, oh, that's a job description, you think that's a job that I've been hired to do, that's wrong. So that leads us to McDonald's. You're wondering where the milkshake came in? I'm glad you asked, Merle. You're going to get your answer. So, McDonald's, several years ago, wanted to sell more milkshakes. And they had a problem that they tried all different formulas, all different ways to try to get people to buy more milkshakes. And they weren't very successful. So they hired somebody by the name of Clayton Christensen, who a lot of the work that you're hearing today is his work, so I'm going to give credit for that, from the Harvard Business School. And they basically sat at the McDonald's drive-thru for one whole solid day looking at who are buying milkshakes. Then they went back the second day to interview people and say, why are you buying milkshakes? And this is what they found. 40% of the people who bought the milkshakes were commuters. They bought them in the morning for their commute, because their commute was boring, it was dull, it was long. They needed something to do. And when they ate the milkshake, it took about 23 minutes for them to finish the milkshake, so it filled some of that time gap. It kept their stomachs full to about 10:30, 11, right around lunchtime. And they could hold it in one hand while they drove with the other hand. And so when they found out that that was the job that people were hiring the milkshake for, they were able to market to it. They realized that people were hiring the milkshake to fill a need, and that was to give them something to do, something that doesn't make a big mess, and that kept their stomachs full till about lunchtime. So they would hire McDonald's milkshakes. They then found the other largest group was in the afternoon, and these were parents with kids. How many of you have kids? I have 5 kids. Yeah, before the jokes come out, I'm Mormon, I have 5 kids. They can laugh. And you have those times where you want your kids to be quiet, so you hire something, a job to be done, right? So a lot of people were hiring milkshakes to keep their kids quiet. But the problem is they didn't want their kids to be too full when dinner came around. So McDonald's actually changed the formula for the afternoon milkshakes. It was a little bit thinner, it was easier for the kids to suck through the straw, and wasn't as filling. Where the morning milkshake was thicker, they added chunks to it, fruit, chocolate, etc., so that there was something to do with your milkshake. Now for you that are saying, oh my gosh, people eat milkshakes for breakfast, that is so gluttonous, the weight, the calories. How many of you this morning stopped off at Starbucks to pick up some type of frozen drink? Or any type of drink? Nobody's gonna raise their hand, right? I know it. There you go, Miss Whitaker. How do I know her name? She's a great teacher. Starbucks has kind of replaced the milkshake. Because you walk into the office with a milkshake, what are you, 10 years old? And you have that feeling of like, oh my gosh, what a cow, you're eating a milkshake for breakfast. But if you actually look at the calories, I don't even know what it is, but I bet if you compare the calories to McDonald's to some Frappa-Lappa with 3 swirls and 2 shakes or whatever, the calories are probably the same, but it's just more sophisticated. It's an adult drink, but it's the same job to be done. It's the exact same job to be done. So that's what McDonald's found, is that people hired a milkshake to fill this need. So, jobs to be done. Right now, my iPhone is not doing the job that it's supposed to be done. So this is what we learned, is that in the jobs to be done frame, there's 3 key pieces. The first one is to identify what people are actually looking for. Okay, so in this case, McDonald's is able to identify the milkshake, and that the milkshake was fulfilling a job to be done. People hired the milkshake. And that our customers, quite often, in order for us to identify, we actually need to step inside their skin and walk the day as that person and always ask, why did they do it that way? Why did the parent order milkshakes at 3 in the afternoon? Okay. Why did, for example, I had to make a call to Herman, who's the general manager of the Hampton Inn yesterday, and I called him for a specific reason. I needed to order a hotel room, not for myself, don't get any ideas, but I had some clients that needed a hotel room, and so my job to be done was actually to impress my clients and provide a great service. It was not to order a hotel room. In order for me to do that, I needed to call Herman. There's a lot of other hotels in the area, but the job that I needed to be done was a guaranteed result, my clients to be taken care of, and for them to, wow, we'll pick it up a level. That was the job that I was hiring, and Herman fulfilled it. So the only way you can do that is by stepping into your customer's skin and being able to look at why they do what they do. The next is to categorize. So there's always the main job to be done, and then there is the related jobs to be done. For example, how many of you have an iTunes account? Okay, if you don't have iTunes, you probably have the Google version, or maybe you have like Pandora or etc. So the job to be done is I need to help organizing my music. Related jobs are, well, it'd also be nice if I could download songs, I could share songs, maybe I can get some related songs. Those are all related, but the main job is I need to organize my music. After that, you have functional aspects and emotional aspects. You think, what is that, Wolf? It's when you buy the new iPhone 10, not because you want facial recognition, but you want to walk around with it in your hand. I have the iPhone 10. What do you? Oh, the 6. I'm sorry. That's an emotional appeal, right? You really can't use 1/10 of what that iPhone can do, but you hold it and you want to walk around. Yeah, I have the iPhone 10. That's actually where the Starbucks cup comes into, right? Yes. I went to Starbucks. Look at my cup. I don't even know what's in it, but it's got 3 dribbles, 2 swirls, and a sprinkling of happy joy. Look at my cup. And it's going to take you literally probably 5 hours to finish that Starbucks cup because you want to keep walking around and holding it. If you were to pound that drink, it'd probably only take a minute, but that's not the job you hired it to do. It's that status symbol. It's that emotional appeal. Then after that, you have the personal and the social aspects as well. Name brands for clothing, that's the best example that I can give for that. They're all made in the same factories, but one gets a guy on a horse, the other one gets an alligator logo. And apparently those 2 logos make a difference. So what's another example of this? I was trying to find an example that we could all relate to, and I came up with the Beats headphones. Are we familiar with the Beats brand? Yes. Okay, they're about $300 for the headphones, and we're not going to get into a discussion of are they worth the $300 or not, but there are very similar other headphones that sell for a fraction of that price. And every time I see somebody with Beats headphones, they're never on their ears, they're just around their neck. Look at my headphones. Look at my headphones, right? So it's that emotional job that we're hiring to be done. Okay? the actual physical job of hearing the music can be accomplished by lots of other brands. But the job, when you buy Beats headphones, is to have the logo and that symbol, because that means something. Right? It does. Okay. Here's the last piece in the jobs to be done framework, is to define your competitors. So if we go back to the milkshake, there's a lot of other things you could do to fill your time that's easy to eat when you're drinking and driving. That got the police's attention, drinking and driving. That you could do. You could have a bagel, but the problem is when they ask people, why didn't you eat a bagel? They found that the bagel is actually messy because now you're trying to drive, hold the bagel on your lap, spread some cream cheese, and then as you eat it, you get crumbs. So when you walk into the office with your bagel, now you have crumbs all over the place. You don't want that. They also ask people, well, how come maybe not like a breakfast burrito? The same thing. If you've ever had a good burrito, you get halfway and you get that final bite where the butt end bursts and the juice just goes down there. So that's not a good thing either. So the milkshake was clean. It was easy, and that's why people hired it. So the competitor, when you're looking at jobs to be done, why do customers hire you? Your competitor, let's say we all work at McDonald's, we own a franchise. Your competitor isn't always Burger King. It's not always Jack in the Box. Your competitor could be Noah's Bagels. Your competitor could be Denny's To Go. So if you think about what your role is in your company, what you're being hired to do, your competitor is actually a much wider span. And to identify your competitors, you have to look at what customers that hired us left us. Where did they go? Why did they leave us? Okay, so I'll bring this because I know right now this room is filled with a lot of people who don't work in the business world. They may work in the public sector. Let's look at schools. I have a son who's 6 who has Down syndrome, and so we hire in quotes, not literally pay, the special ed department of the school district to fill a specific job for our son. It's not to learn how to write, it's not to learn to tie shoes, it's not to do a lot of things that you may think a school needs to do. The job that we hire the district for is to help our son feel like a regular student who has friends, and that when he's old enough can fulfill his desires as a successful adult. That's the job that as parents we hire the school to do. And so sometimes when there's headbutting, it's not because the school's not doing a good job, it's because they don't understand the job that we're hiring them to do. So some parents, they find competitors, private school, out-of-state placements, whatever. And so then the school has to look at, well, geez, and that's how they have that discussion. So jobs to be done is not just for the business world, it's for all. Even if you're a parent or a grandparent, there's a job that you're being hired to do. And what's your competition? For parents, the easy competition is, here's a device, play with it, right? Your kid is hiring you for time. It's hiring you to learn, jobs to be done. And your competition is TV, there's devices, there's all kinds of things. So the jobs to be done framework can cover a lot. You're saying, why is there a pizza? Because you could eat pizza for breakfast. Okay, so the job you're hired to do, and that's why you have a milkshake, so that you have a reminder of the job that you are hired to do. So going back to the chair, the lion, and now the milkshake. So each of us is here today, hopefully for more than just the lunch. Although lunch was really good, we're here for a specific purpose. Simply, it could be, well, I want to know who the surprise guest speaker was. It could be, I wanted lunch, I want to connect with somebody, I want to network. We all hired this event for a specific job to be done. That's why you're here. If you don't get your needs met, you'll find some competition. Maybe you won't come next year, maybe you'll go somewhere else, I don't know. But when you go back to your workplace or to your house or to wherever you're going after this event, think about the jobs that you've been hired to do and how you can improve that. It's by identifying what the job is. You may think you know why your customers come to you, but you really have no idea. Raymar Foods sells some really good ice cream. And I learned that there's a technique to making sure that is it not enough air bubbles or no air bubbles? What's the rule? How you whip it?
You want some air bubbles.
Some air bubbles, but not too much. And there's a science to this. And PJ could spend a lot of time making sure that the amount of bubbles is perfect and all that, but it's going back to why do people hire Magnolia ice cream? And when they identify that, they'll then be able to sell more. So we identify why our customers are hiring us. We then categorize it, and that's going to help us. Okay, so why do people hire us? And I wanted to share this with you because I think a lot of times we feel unsuccessful at work or in life or in our businesses, and we feel frustrated. And as a small business person, a lot of times when small businesses get frustrated, they quit. I don't know what the statistic is now, but it's within 5 years, most people close up shop. It's a growing number, and it's one, because they have not identified why the customer hires them. They think they know and they do everything, but they haven't figured it out. So as a business organization, as a chamber, our job is to figure out why do small businesses, medium businesses, and large businesses hire us as a chamber and to fulfill that need. As a police department, why are you hired? As a school district, as city government, wherever our jobs are, what is the job to be done? And if you're scared to ask that question or to address it, just bring out your chair. So with that, I want to give my thanks for everybody's attendance today. It's definitely out of the box. Dr. Shiraki Hawley, who was out of Southern California but did some work in Oakland, he came up with a term called offensive. It's a combination of being offended but then also being sensitive. And I know that some of the things I said today were offensive. You kind of were offended by them, but it's also kind of a sensitive topic. That's okay. What that really means is that you're looking at change, and that's what's scary. Innovation, change, they're hard topics to deal with, but if your business is to be successful, if your job is to be successful, if your life's to be successful, sometimes you gotta step out of that comfort zone and address the job to be done. And sometimes it's okay to bring your chair so that the lions don't eat you. Thank you very much.
I wonder if they could figure one out that you could bring a banana split up instead of a milkshake. You think? My problem is trying to eat the cereal in the car in the morning. That's tougher than a bagel. I spill that stuff all over myself. What a mess that is. It's time for some awards. Are we ready? Well, that was better than the last time I asked you something. That's really good. You see, Wolf, you got their attention.
Stand on the chair.
I stand on the chair is in trouble, so it's not a good idea. I missed a meal in 1957, and I haven't missed one since. The Volunteer of the Year is Joji Seo. Come on down. I'm going to read some things about Joji that you're going to want to be very impressed by, as you will, and you'll see why she is the Volunteer of the Year. Joji was born in June of 1960 in the Philippines, third child in a family of 7 kids. They lived comfortably while they were still young, but then their fortunes changed when their father decided to support a political campaign against graft and corruption, but eventually lost the election. They lost their home and their business, and their lives were threatened. They were forced to seek refuge with their relatives. The drawback has created lots of difficulties for their family, but it strengthened the young Joji, which made her resilient and more cognizant to the realities of life. She adapted to the situation and made the most of it. She worked hard to have a good education, even when her family could not afford it. She persevered and studied harder to excel in academics, knowing that this could be a great tool for her future. Notably, she also excelled in the sport of archery, which gave her a full, free scholarship from her freshman year in college until she graduated with a degree of Bachelor of Sciences in Industrial Management Engineering. You got any arrows with you by chance? I hate to have you standing behind me when I'm eating an arrow. Phew, frightening. The athlete Joji brought out in her competitive spirit and can-do attitude, which made her qualify in the Philippine national archery team with Ernesto Seo Jr. as her coach. The team represented the Philippines in the 1981 U.S. National Open Tournament in Oxford, Ohio, Asian Games in Singapore, and Southeast Asian Games in Manila. While training, the relationship between Joji and Ernie blossomed into something special that eventually ended in marriage. They have 3 children, Alneka Claire, Jess Christian, and Jerson David. While Ernie joined the Pittsburgh Masonic Lodge in 1999, Joji also joined the Order of Aramat. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Was that close?
Close.
No.
Close.
How was that? How should I pronounce it?
Amaranth.
Amaranth. You can sit down now, thank you. Amaranth. No one's ever accused me of being bright, so don't worry about it, it's all right. One of the appendant bodies of the Masons, Joji was attracted to the order because of their involvement in the American Diabetes Association as the largest nonprofit organization that supports the ADA. The Order of Amaranth is a proud sponsor of very successful research of the insulin pump, which millions of diabetics benefited from in the study. To date, their organization has donated more than $17 million to ADA and continues to sponsor further research on how to completely combat diabetes through the various fundraising projects. Joji volunteers for the annual Step All Walk for Diabetes and was one of the highest solicitors of sponsors for 2 consecutive years. Works as a full-time senior accountant for Laconia Development in Walnut Creek. Somehow, she manages to find time to volunteer as long as it's for the good and benefit of the community. She volunteered for Habitat of Humanity, Christmas in April, and Antioch Coastal Cleanup. Her extreme orderliness and attention to details made her the right person to help man the headquarters of the Pittsburgh Seafood and Music Festival, which she's done for the past 5 years. She's one of the regular volunteers of the Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce for their various projects, such as Empowering Ladies in Leadership, Chamber Mixers Pittsburgh High School mock interviews for the high school students to better prepare them for their college and career. At the Masonic Lodge, she's one of the leaders who would help organize any event or fundraising that would take place for any philanthropic purposes. She's one of the lead volunteers in raising funds for the refugees in the Philippines during conflict time between the government and ISIS. Most recently, she helped organize the fundraising relief effort of the Napa and Solano fire victims. Life of volunteering had always been a second nature to Joji. She never expects any type of recognition, just contented on working behind the scenes. However, her efforts do not escape notice. That's why the Masonic Lodge, and with the people who know her, she's fondly known as Nene, which means mother, because she acts like a mother to most, regardless of age. Her energy level seems inexhaustible, especially when she knows what she's doing and volunteering for will benefit others, the younger generation and her community. Ladies and gentlemen, the Volunteer of the Year, Joji Seo.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to receive this award. I never expected this, never in my wild imagination. Thank you, and I would like to share this award with my fellow volunteers, Order of the Amaranth. Will you please stand up? Thank you so much. Thank you, Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce, for recognizing all the efforts that we made for the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Joji. I was tired reading all of that, Joji. A lot of stuff that you've done over the years, my heavens. I was grateful you didn't have the archery with you. That would have been good. All right, we are now moving on to the Educator of the Year, Michael Whitaker. Hi, Michael.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good, congratulations. There are many factors that influence Ms. Whitaker in becoming a teacher, but the one that stands out most is being able to guide others to the best contributing citizens in society. Mrs. Whitaker knew she wanted to be a teacher when she was first in 3rd grade. I spent 3 times in 3rd grade, so I can understand that. She knew in third grade that someday she would be the teacher that could share her passion for knowledge and inspire others to give back to society. It's exactly what she does. She graduated from Pittsburgh High School in 1991, went to college at San Francisco State, started substitute teaching while earning her credential at Chapman University. She then came back to Pittsburgh to give back to her hometown. She's been teaching in Pittsburgh for 20 years. These 20 years have been rewarding for her as well as a challenge. She feels her greatest accomplishments is helping not only students, but colleagues recognize their full potential. During these years, she's been a mentor to other teachers, a tutor to struggling students, a team leader for her grade level, all while doing her best to prepare students to leave school and be ready for the world. To see students involved in their own learning is the greatest reward for me. She feels it's her responsibility to be organized, plan thoughtful lessons, and create a welcoming atmosphere where students can learn in productive, positive, non-threatening environment. She believes mistakes are accepted, but maximum effort is expected. Teaching for Mrs. Whitaker is much more than a job. It's a profession that allows her to mix her passion and her skill. Ladies and gentlemen, the Educator of the Year, Mrs. Michael Whitaker.
Thank you. This is definitely not why you teach for awards, but think about being the lion tamer in the classroom. That's for sure. I can remember my first year of teaching. I remember thinking, I am so outnumbered. But this has been definitely more than just a job. This is a passion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Whitaker. I recently moved from Moraga into Rossmore, and when I was moving, I found my I found my 8th grade, 1st through 8th grade report cards. That was the mission by itself, just to find the report cards. And my 6th grade none. I was a very good academic student, but I was terrible as far as trouble in the classroom. And my 6th grade teacher had the most vision, I guess. She said on her note, "Mr. Callahan, you have a nice voice and you read well. Maybe that'll help you make something out of yourself despite your other limitations." Congratulations to Sister Myra. Our 2016 Citizen of the Year is Bob Beck. Hello, Robert.
Hello.
How goes it?
Really good.
Lunch was good? Glad to hear it. Good. It says here is if you know Pittsburgh and you want something done for the community, it's a given that you know how to call on Bob Beck. Raised in Pittsburgh as a die-hard Boy Scout, Bob is a volunteer triple threat. He's everywhere, knows everyone, and can't say no to a good cause. He served the Pittsburgh schools for 38 years. He started as a substitute teacher, worked as a junior high teacher before becoming the pioneering independent study program coordinator. He later served as principal at both Central Junior High and Riverside High. He finished his sterling career with 16 years steering Pittsburgh Adult Education Center, PAEC, where he instituted the official motto, dedicated to lifelong learning. Under Bob, PAEC flourished, growing to more than 10,000 yearly enrollments. The school has become a crucial part of the community fabric with active partnerships with scores of groups, including the Senior Center, Los Medanos College, East Bay Works, and the California Department of Rehabilitation. Adding to this reputation as a hands-on administrator, Bob could be counted on to attend every school board meeting. Reinforcing his tireless pace, he was on the superintendent's cabinet and for Western Association Schools and College Accreditation Visiting Committee Chair. God, Bob, you're a busy guy. And for the Far Western Association of the College's Accreditation Visiting Committee, he was also the recipient of the Outstanding Administrator Award for 2004-2005 by this Association of California Administrators. As a reflection of his community stature and his can-do attitude, Bob was called on to be treasurer for 2 school board bond and 1 parcel tax measure. All passed. Did you make a buck on that, Bob? Oh, it's terrible to say that. God, what's wrong with you, Callahan? Bob has been a fixture in civic life in Pittsburgh. Enumerating his contributions is a dizzying task, and you wonder for brevity what to admit in an everyday battery of man tests. Bob served for 8 years in chair for, I used to learn how to read, I'll be all right once I get this down. Bob served for 8 years and chair for 2 years on the Pittsburgh Planning Commission. He's been a board director and a past president for the Advisory Committee, Pittsburgh Economic Housing and Development Corporation, and the Pittsburgh Pacific Services Incorporated. He's been an Optic Opportunity Junction and Start Even Grant Board Director, sat on the JFK Advisory Committee, the Workforce Investment Board, and the Transplant Transportation Commission for East County. He's been awarded by the State President of California Elks for his contribution to that group. He served 2 terms in the office of Exalted Leader of the Pittsburgh Elks Club and has been the president of the Kiwanis. He was on the Pittsburgh Boys and Girls Club Board of Directors until 2012, long-standing member of the Good Shepherd Pastoral Council. In retirement, he has remained active with church and community. He's particularly proud of offering expertise to grant committees that over the years have helped the Pittsburgh High Band to New York, Macy's Parade, and to London. He's also helped send the Pittsburgh High robotics team to attend the national championship and has worked on a grant to help homeless students. There's more we could add. Really? The hell did I leave out for granted? You can't imagine, right? You know it's dinner time already, Bob? You have an idea? In all fairness, though, ladies, I make a jest, but man, these accomplishments are something, aren't they really? For all of these people, they really are great. It's amazing. And finally, there's more than one we could add, just highlighted Bob's civic involvements that could also say so much about him as a devoted husband, father, and son. The point is made, though, Bob is the very definition of volunteering and service. He is best of what his family town represents. Selfless service to family, church, and community. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Beck.
Thank you. They told me I had a minute, and those of you that know me know that a minute will never do, but here it goes. First of all, I would like to thank the Chamber for this great honor, and it was a complete surprise. I would also like to thank Walter Rulick, who's way in the back, who nominated me. Walter was on my staff at Pittsburgh Adult, and now he's my boss because I'm a consultant for Antioch Adult Education. Walter's on the school board there. So the tables have changed, Walter. I would also like to say a big thank you to all the educators, civic leaders, community members, and to all the fraternal and service organizations and their members who have been and continue to be a tremendous service to our town and our community. With me today is my wife, Sheena, my 97-year-old mother, and a member of a pioneer Pittsburgh family, Antoinette. Our daughter, Olivia, could not be with us. She was one of the lucky ones. She is employed. My brother and sister-in-law, Arnie and Nancy Beck. My Chinese brother and his wife, George and Judy Wong. And a fellow Elk trustees and one of my best friends, Richard and Nia. Thank you. This community means so much to me. In some ways, I hope my civic, fraternal, and community activities have helped to improve the quality of life for all of our citizens and all of our community. Again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for this tremendous honor.
"97 years old. Wow. And you can wave. I'm only in my 70s. I have a hell of a time doing that. So, first of all, congratulations on getting to 97, and also for developing a son as well as you have done that. And you deserve a nice round of applause for what you've done for providing your son what he's done for the community. You got them all the family members. I'm sure you contributed to each one of their lives, but Congratulations. I think that's absolutely fabulous. Did you hear about the 80-year-old woman that was arrested for shoplifting? Yeah. Arrested for shoplifting. Went to court, and the judge said, "What did you do?" She said, "I stole a can of peaches." He said, "Why did you steal a can of peaches?" She said, "I wanted a can of peaches." Her 85-year-old husband is standing there, and the judge said, "You know, you have to help her. You can't be doing this kind of stuff. You can't be stealing peaches out of the store." He said, "Well, how many peaches were in the can?" And she said, 6. He said, "You're going to jail for 6 days, 1 for each peach that was in the can." Her husband next to her raised his hand. He said, "Judge, can I speak?" And the judge said, "Sure, go ahead." He said, "She also stole a can of peas." Not bad, huh? We are now saluting our 2016 Veteran of the Year, who is Daniel Herrera. Unfortunately, Daniel could not be here today, but accepting for Daniel is Sal Sobrante. So Sal, you want to come up and pretend you're Daniel? Sal, it's okay if I read about Danny and not about you, too, okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you. We're running a little behind. Danny Herrera was born in 1930 on 6th Street here in Pittsburgh, and he's been a lifelong resident. He attended local schools and graduated from Pittsburgh High School in 1948. Immediately employed by the United States Steel Corporation here in Pittsburgh. In 1953, he took leave from U.S. Steel and enlisted in the Army and served in the Korean War. Returned to Pittsburgh in 1955 and returned to work at U.S. Steel. Enrolled in Diablo Valley College and graduated from there in 1957. In 1958, Danny married his sweetheart Gail. They had 3 children. Gail Herrera Sobrante, Lisa Herrera Mazzancini, hope I'm close on that, and their son Daniel Herrera Jr. Are there no Irish people to this thing? I mean, I'm having a hell of a time with these names. I'm okay with Callahan and O'Rourke and Riley and that stuff. Wow, tough world around here. In 1959, Danny joined the Pittsburgh Police Reserves and was also a charter member of JFK and American GI Forums. Danny held several offices in the Steelworkers Union, Local 1440 as president and financial secretary, serving as negotiator on the negotiating teams in both Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Washington, D.C. One of Danny's great remembrances was shaking the hands of 5 U.S. presidents. I think that was all the same day? Probably not. He shook the hands of 5 U.S. presidents. Wow. In 1983, Danny retired from U.S. Steel and allowed him to spend more time with his family, as well as helping veterans and becoming more involved in the VFW post here in Pittsburgh as commander, and later on as a member of the United Veterans Council Board in Pittsburgh. In 1986, Danny was employed as a member of the Pittsburgh Police Department as evidence technician for 10 years. Served on the board of directors for United Savings Federal Credit Union for many years, continued to remain active in the veteran activities up until his recent health problems have prevented him from doing so. Danny has worked hard for all the veterans for over many years and deserves due recognition for all he has given to this community as a lifelong member of Pittsburgh. Danny Herrera, represented by Sal Sobrante.
As he said, I'm Sal Sobrante, Dan Herrera's son-in-law. He only has Italian son-in-laws, so that's why you get names like Mazzancini and Sobrante. But Dan's sorry he's unable to make it today due to some recent health issues and has asked me to accept this award for him. His family, represented by his wife Gail Herrera, his daughter Lisa Herrera Mazzancini, Dan Mazzancini, his son-in-law, my wife Gail Herrera Sobrante, and myself. So Dan is well deserving of this award. He fought in the Korean War, and as a proud vet, he's been an active member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars for many years. He's also a member, by the way, of the American Legion, the Disabled American Veterans, and a number of others. He's served as the post commander for the VFW post 1878 for the past 13 years. Recently, I think like the last 2 years, he's also was able to get into the ARNMA, Army Navy Marine Club. And he also serves on the Veterans United Council, whose mission is to help veterans. I can tell you, in everything he's done, he likes to serve and help people. Recognitions like this, people have offered him before. He always said no, 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 but he deserves it. I can honestly tell you, he's an excellent choice for Veteran of the Year. Thank you for this award.
Our next award is for the First Responder of the Year for the Pittsburgh Police Department. And Captain Patrick Wentz is going to come up and do the presentation to Officer Jacob Stage. Come on down, guys. Hear about the policemen that come back to headquarters one day and they ask any action going on. He said there was a lady that shot her husband out in whatever the street was, and they said, why? And he said, well, he walked across the kitchen floor while it was wet. And the officer said, well, did you arrest her? The guy said, hell no, the floor was still wet. Anyway, Detective Stage has been with the Pittsburgh Police Department for 10 years. Detective Stage worked several years as a beat officer throughout his city and as field training officer, training many of our newer officers. As a beat officer, Detective Stage was extremely knowledgeable with crime trends throughout the city and enforcing laws, always did so in a professional and compassionate manner. As field training officer, Detective Stage was a great role model for new officers and a patient teacher serving in the role at times requiring a tremendous amount of patience. In 2015, Detective Stage transferred into the investigation division. Shortly after becoming a detective, his skill level was so quickly recognized by everyone he worked with and those in the community. Based on his high skill level and tenacity along with his unwavering commitment to the citizens of Pittsburgh, Detective Stage was quickly assigned major cases for his tenure in the investigative division. These included murder investigations, some of which he received significant attention from the community and media. During these investigations, Detective Stage furthered his reputation of being a great officer by demonstrating relentless pursuit of criminals and by being an outstanding advocate for those victims that could no longer advocate for themselves. Since being an officer with the Pittsburgh Police Department, Detective Stage has received a number of department awards, which include life-saving, Chief's Commendation, auto theft, meritorious conduct, and in 2016, Detective Stage was the Officer of the Year. Detective Stage currently lives in Solano County with his wife and 3 children. Our First Responder of the Year, Officer Jacob Stage, to be presented by Captain Patrick Wentz. Captain? Did you want to say something?
You covered it, sir.
Did I get it all?
You did it.
First time a police officer ever told me that. That's good.
I just want to say thank you. I'm lucky enough to work in a department that is filled with men and women that are all Officer of the Year caliber. So to be chosen amongst them for this honor is humbling, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, congratulations. I'll just add one other comment. And I've been at the athletics for 13 years, and we have Law Enforcement Day. There's 2 days a year that I really enjoy announcing over at the Coliseum, and I'm happy to be able to sit up in the booth and do that, look out and watch what is in front of me out on the field. One is Breast Cancer Awareness Day, when you watch all of the people who have experienced what they have, and they're all a bunch of happy people because they're all survivors out there. And I can look out and still be happy and look at them and think all these people had to wait for test results and all types of things that they had to experience. But thank God they're still happy and able to go on through it and live. And then my second day is Law Enforcement Day, because it has always been my belief that the law enforcement people do not get adequately recognized for the positive contributions that are made by many law enforcement officers in the community. And as I see them ride as they surround the Coliseum, I'm very happy to send them off with Law Enforcement Day, and I congratulate all of the officers who are here and the members of your department in absentia. Please be grateful, ladies and gentlemen, for the police officers' work that we have. I'm gonna now get my chair because the lion is about to come back up again. Ready, Wolf?
Just to mix things up and have a change of voice, although the competition of following the A's announcer is a tough one. For 2016, we want to recognize the nonprofit of the year, and the nonprofit that we would like to recognize is Heart of a Hero, and accepting on behalf of Heart of a Hero is Bianca Rocha. She'll be coming down. So Heart of a Hero is a nonprofit organization founded by Ricky Mania after having a detailed dream where his deceased grandmother showed him dressed as your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, bringing joy to a world full of kids in need. Ricky awoke from the dream and the real thing was born. As of October 2014, Spider-Man has made visits to over 9,000 children battling life-threatening illness, also children who are homeless, children with special needs, foster children, and children who have that are terminally ill. Spider-Man and his team at the Heart of a Hero noticed quickly how a simple visit from their hero lifted not only spirits of the children, but also the families supporting these children. Each visit is unique and special. Spidey shows up for all underprivileged, ill children for free, and even arrives bearing gifts. Heart of a Hero accepts both monetary and toy and clothes donations, which is a critical part of keeping these services free for these beautiful children in need. It's their mission at Heart of a Hero to inspire, motivate, and empower children who need it most. So we'd like to recognize the organization Heart of a Hero.
So my name is Bianca Rocha. I volunteer for Heart of a Hero. I'm like a full-time volunteer. So this is from Ricky. Sorry. First of all, I apologize for not being present to accept this great honor. I'm currently in New York visiting 2 hospitals, making you guys proud. But on behalf of myself and everyone who makes Heart of a Hero what it is, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. This would be nothing without the support of our community, and it means the world to receive such an honor from the Chamber and City of Pittsburgh. We hope to continue changing little lives in need all over the world for many years to come, and with your support, we definitely will. Again, thank you and God bless.
Next is our Small Business of the Year, and would like to recognize the Alarm Guys. The Alarm Guys are a Pittsburgh, California-based alarm company serving California by providing local communities with affordable and reliable home security systems and alarm monitoring services. Offering affordable monthly rates and top-notch around-the-clock service is their #1 priority. The Alarm Guys are proud to offer communities in California with the latest home automation technology available. At the Alarm Guys Home Security Company, they pride themselves on providing the highest quality services tailored to each customer's individual needs. Their security service team is dedicated to ensuring a great experience with every call. And whether you're setting up home security for the first time or updating to the latest in-home automation technology, they have a service package perfect for you. With offices here in Pittsburgh, the Alarm Guys, better known as the Local Guys, are providing California with excellent service since 2011. We care about people, their families, and homes is our motto. The safety of your home and family is our topmost priority, and they strive to provide a great customer experience with all their friendly, high-skilled professionals. So we'd like to recognize the Alarm Guys as a Small Business of the Year.
This was a total surprise, so I wanted to say thank you to the Chamber. We moved our corporate headquarters to Pittsburgh just over a year ago, and the support's been tremendous. We try to do a few company events through the city a year, and this last year we did an Easter egg hunt. I wanted to thank the police department for helping us put that on, and the city and the Chamber, and the support from the city for our company has been tremendous, and I just want to say thank you for the support, and we're excited to be a part of Pittsburgh. All
right, next we're going to be recognizing our Big Business of the Year, And the big business of the year is Sutter Delta. And at this time, I'm actually going to turn the mic back over to our past president, who is a current employee of Sutter Delta, who's going to tell us more about how good they are.
Well, just very briefly, not to steal any thunder, but what we'll do is not read the 10-page bio on Sutter Delta Medical Center, but I'll have our CEO, Dory Stevens, come up and just give a couple words about Sutter Delta and Sutter Health. And we thank everyone for this award. Come on up, Dory. And I had nothing to do with the vote, just FYI. It happened, it's cool.
Did you rig it for us, Reggie?
No, I did not rig it. I don't think I have that authority as a past president. Only Wolf can do that kind of thing.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, everybody, for the recognition of our hospital here in the community. And I will say that it is my job, and what I was hired to do and my team was hired to do was to take care of all of you and your family members and everybody in the community when you have medical health care needs. So that is our job in a nutshell, and we are very honored to serve you all. Thank you.
All right, 2016 Business Person of the Year, we'd like to recognize Jackie Sino. Born and raised in Pittsburgh, California, Jackie M. Sino is the owner and president of Cyrus Land Investments, LLC, and Jacqueline M. Sino Construction Company, Incorporated. As a land developer and home builder, Jackie oversees and manages various residential projects in Northern California and Nevada, and is a licensed general contractor in California. And I believe, if I'm correct, the number of female general contractors 3%. And plumbers is only 3% in the state, so that's quite an accomplishment. Prior to her career in land development, Jackie lived in New York City, where she earned her master's degree in social work from Columbia University and practiced as an LCSW at Fordham Tremont Community Mental Health Center in the South Bronx, serving children, adolescents, and their families. She later co-founded Breakthrough Counseling Care, a private mental health practice located in Manhattan, New York. In 2005, Jackie began to sense the Lord calling her back to California, prompting her relocation to the Bay Area, where she has since resided in Alameda County. Upon returning to California, Jackie obtained her ministerial license and has since served in various ministry capacities in both the church and marketplace, and is passionate and committed to serving those in her sphere of influence. I'd like to thank and recognize Jackie Sino as our 2016 Business Person of the Year.
I'm Italian, so I gotta give hugs. But I just want to start by saying thank you so much to the Chamber of Commerce and to the City of Pittsburgh. You know, I see so many familiar faces in this room, and many of you know that my family has deep roots here in the City of Pittsburgh. We have 4 going on 5 generations. And I just want to say that I don't take it lightly, that it doesn't come around more than sometimes I believe it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be able to do business and be able to serve in the community that has such deep roots and significance in my heart and in my family's heart. And so I just want to say thank you to the City of Pittsburgh for giving us the opportunity to be able to do business in a community that has such meaning and significance to our entire bloodline. So thank you so much for this honor. I really appreciate it.
All right, everybody start your engines. Who's ready to go home, right? It's been a long day. So, closing remarks. Take your milkshake and figure out what's your job to be done. You all laugh, but I guarantee you're never gonna forget that. And every time you see a milkshake, you'll remember the job to be done. So, whether you own a business, work in a school, run a school, lead a hospital, whatever your job to be done is, think about how you can bring innovation in how you can identify your customers' needs, and it's quite often not a faster horse. Thank you for attending, and we will see you next year.